I haven't quite decided yet if it's a good match to start by saying welcome. So we'll try it this time and see if it feels right to say welcome to Erik Waddell Pause. Today will be our first attempt at speaking about something contemporary, speaking about something shared, as well as speaking about something difficult, something challenging. So what we will do is that I will introduce a topic that is affecting all of us, and I will use a couple of our emotional skills that can be found in the STAR pattern, the STAR framework that we are using. In the middle of this STAR framework is an image that says pause. And pause is the same name as this show. So pausing is at the center of everything we do. Depending on what kind of difficult situation we have in front of us, the pausing might look a little different. What constitutes pausing will differ somewhat depending on what we have in front of us. But nonetheless, pausing is always the first thing we do, as well as the ground of everything. Today's subject, I figured that I wanted to go out quite ambitiously right out of the gate, to just send myself some kind of signal that here we go. So the topic I've chosen for today is something I know all of us are thinking about, maybe not talking about, but thinking about. And that is that recently there has been all over the world, there has been an increase in violence in the streets. There has been an increase in armed robberies. A few individuals suddenly appearing and pointing a gun or a knife or whatnot, and in a matter of seconds or maybe a minute, quickly in and out, and completely changing the emotional atmosphere of wherever they're going. There has been an increase in armed robberies. There has been an increase in attacks, personal attacks, people jumping each other, people jumping elderly, people jumping complete strangers in the streets. There has been an increase in fraud. Again, a lot of elderly people are being targeted by criminals. And these individuals are trying to exploit the vulnerability of our elderly to mainly get their money, but as well, being dominant. There has been an increase in public gatherings, public demonstrations that are violent in its nature. These are not peaceful protests. These are violent protests. People get hurt. People die. Buildings are destroyed. Immense resources get used up. So this is the dark background that we will speak about today. And just speaking about dark stuff is not helpful in itself. Maybe you could call that talking for effect. And that is not what we will do here. Here we will, in a very conscious way, a very determined way, we will bring up something contemporary and difficult and fit it in to our framework of emotional skills. So my ambition is that I know that this framework is very useful. It makes complex things, complex turns of events seem a little more okay. Not okay in themselves. Sometimes we have to really react to things that are happening, but it's always good to have the feeling that things make sense. We do not want to be confused. We do not want to get worn out. In our framework of emotional skills, there are 16 cards or 16 images, 16 points. And as I mentioned, the one in the middle is always pausing. Erik Waddell, pause. That's at the core of everything we do. And I think it's very obvious for our listeners that the way I speak, I'm very conscious to always have this pausing quality to everything I do. Not necessarily to slow things down always, because sometimes we have to increase our speed, increase our motion to be effective in what we do, but have this pausing mentality. And the more difficult a situation is, the more challenging it is, the higher the need, the greater the need for pausing. And today's subject is a difficult one. It's a very aggravating subject. Overt violence in the streets is stressful. No matter how you look at it, it's highly stressful. And if we look at our STAR framework, our 16-point STAR framework of emotional skills, today we will look a little bit extra at one of the 5 universal skills. It's one of the 5 in the innermost circle around pausing. So we will look at the one on the upper left side called body. Body is what it says explicitly. Our body is one facet of emotions. Our body, or our bodies, all of our bodies, are one form of emotions, one sort of manifestation of emotions. So looking at our bodies and how our bodies react is very effective. It is very effective in giving us a sense of coherence, a sense of control, a sense of things making sense, basically. And our subject today, overt violence in the streets, it affects our bodies. It is very easy to see, but difficult to talk about. So, if I'm walking out in the streets, the other day I was downtown, walking in the streets, and there is this collective sense of our bodies tensing up right now. People's bodies are tense. How do we see that? You can see people's shoulders are pulled up. You can see that people walk faster than they might normally do. You can see that people are sort of pulling in their stomachs. You will notice that people will not as readily meet each other's eyes. There is this sort of what do you call it in English? Scattered or averted eyes in people. And if you do look someone in the eye, people want to look away quite quickly. So when we are among people down out in the streets or in public spaces, there can be a lot of people in one place. There can be hundreds of people in one place. But all the same, the bodies there will feel somewhat isolated from each other. So many bodies, but isolated bodies. And everybody knows that at any given moment, something sudden and violent can happen. It can happen inexplicably, it can happen to anyone, and it can be devastating. It would be cruel to ask for relaxation in such a situation. It would be cruel and stupid to try to relax in a situation that is obviously not relaxing. I think that is my main point of today's show, today's topic, that it would be cruel and stupid to ask for relaxation in a situation that is obviously not safe. So, for the listener out there who feels tense, scared, scattered, isolated, lonely, you have good reason for feeling like you feel. I think I will not say that much more, actually. What I wanted to achieve with this second episode, I wanted to speak about pausing and how central it is to pause. And over time we will see different versions of pausing, different ways we pause. And my second point is that I want the listener to know that your fear, your tension, your apprehension, your hypervigilance are sound. And I think it would be unwise to try to relax if you're not naturally feeling relaxed. Not trying to force relaxation. I think to force relaxation would just be self-deceptive. It's not on par with the situation we have in front of us. Overt violence has to be addressed and dealt with accordingly. It's not something you should ignore and just put it on yourself to just relax your way through it. That's stupid. So be tense. I think that's it. Do you have something you're wondering or want to add?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.